And prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. And I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes, and he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground. Neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field, saith the Lord of hosts. And all nations shall call you blessed, for ye shall be a delightsome land. Did he say you shall be a delightsome church? No. He said you shall be a delightsome land, saith the Lord of hosts. That's Jesus Christ. Your words have been stout against me, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, what have we spoken so much against thee? And the Lord basically has shown you that you have been deceived. You have been deceived, even the whole nation. How rare is it? How rare is it that one person in the United States of America does anything that only one person does? How unique is it? How unique is it to be the fastest runner in the whole United States of America? How unique is it to be the strongest man in the whole United States of America? How unique is it to be the best gymnast or the best horseman? You see how a football team celebrates when they win the Super Bowl? Football season starting. So how unique is that? And how much work has to go in to being that one in the whole nation? Say 1 out of 340 million, 350 million, the population of the United States of America. How unique is it to be one in something? That's pretty rare. And can you imagine that I am the only presidential candidate in America, in the United States of America? I was the only one to sue both Republicans and Democrats for violating the qualifications of the highest office of the land. I was the only one. They all had the opportunity to do exactly what I did, but no one did. I was the only one. And I boast not in myself, but I boast in the Lord's intelligence that was given to me. And thank God, His blessings came and were given. Now, you know what? We all have a choice. And I could have chosen, when the Lord told me to sue Senator John McCain for not being a natural-born citizen, being a native of Panama, I could have said, you know what? That was just a dream, and you got to be out of your mind. There's no way you're gonna win. You know, you don't have enough money. The courts don't respect the poor that come into court without a high-priced attorney. I did fork out the $400. It was the filing fee on that case. Many other cases I had to go in and form a papyrus because I didn't have that filing fee. But in justice, we're not supposed to count money as being in the balance of a grievance. In other words, bribe. And that's why the informa pauperis law and principle exists. For that reason, if you don't think that should exist, then basically you're saying only the people with money can come in and get justice. Now, how unique is being the only one in that we've discussed? How unique is it that a lawyer has on his record one U.S. Supreme Court case? Do you understand how many lawyers there are in the United States of America? Now you go around and start asking them, do you have a case in the United States Supreme Court that I can have as a reference on your biography or in your history, on your resume? Do you have a reference from the highest court of the land? I just want to make sure you're good. And that, you've had experience standing up for issues that are really, really important to all of us Americans. Do you know how many lawyers in America there are? Now ask yourself what the percentage of lawyers are that actually had a case that actually even reached the U.S. Supreme Court. Ask them what it costs to get a case to the U.S. Supreme Court, and most attorneys will say it's at least $1 million endeavor. Going from the district court to the appeals court and to the U.S. Supreme Court, all the time that takes, it's at least $1 million deal. Well, I got 2 cases in the U.S. Supreme Court, 1252-76 and 1493-96, Judy versus Obama. That makes, again, me pretty unique in the field of standing up for the law, which lawyers get their name from. How many lawyers have a U.S. Supreme Court case on their record? Out of all the lawyers in America, start asking and see how unique that is. I'm running for U.S. Senate in the state of Utah as a write-in candidate. You can write my name in. I'm an official candidate that is referenced in the elections office in the state of Utah. Perhaps it's presumptuous of me to think that the people who are voting nowadays would actually want someone in the office of U.S. Senator who has a record of standing up for their rights. Maybe I'm presumptuous in understanding what a U.S. Senator's job really is. Yay, nay. Yay, nay. There's 2 senators for every state in our union. That's a pretty unique office to have. And I would perhaps be presumptuous in saying that as a voter, you would want someone in that unique office who's qualified under the Constitution, no doubt. You got to be at least 30 years old. Got to be a U.S. citizen. And you've got to have lived in the United States, in the state, hopefully, for a period of, I think it's 8 years for U.S. Senator. I know it's 14 years for the president, and I think it's 5 years for representative. I don't have the Constitution with me, but anyway, there are different levels. That's the point I'm trying to make. Well, yeah, you can get someone. A lot of people fill that office as far as the criteria, and there's a lot of people that don't. They're not qualified under those narrow guidelines. Someone who's 29, they don't 29 or below, you can't run for U.S. Senate. You're not old enough. There's a qualification discrimination, if you want to call it that. But you don't have Little League teams playing in the NFL either. There's a discrimination of qualification there. The guys in the NFL are huge. The guys in the U.S. Senate are huge in intellect also. They should be someone that you would feel comfortable in defending your rights of the Constitution. What do they swear an oath to? Do they swear an oath to subvert the Constitution or uphold it and defend it? Well, they swear an oath to defend it, the Constitution. That's the base of the job. That's the base. If you can't get that right, you can't even get the base right. How are you going to get the trees and the limbs and the leaves right? You know, I have defended your rights, but you haven't respected that, and you haven't helped me with that. But the love in my heart that had been healed, and had been healed with a little window of eternity in my heart, which gave me a greater vision between heaven and earth. For truth that was given to me at great cost. I had to walk through a lot of pain to get that little window. I had to make a choice to get that window. I had to trust, I had to believe, and I had to have faith to get that window. So I understand that there's some faith and belief, and there's some understanding, and there's some trust that has to go into making a choice. But believe me, the last thing that is important for a U.S. Senator is to do a 30-minute commercial, or a 30-second commercial, I should say, or a 1-minute commercial. Anybody can get up there and recite on a teleprompter or something that they've memorized. Anyone. Seriously. I mean, you could have a 4th grader that can read a teleprompter. And what I really hope, is that the proof of standing up for your constitutional rights with the love that I've had in the service of my fellow man has so little respect that the Lord of hosts makes the claim to you, you have robbed me, this whole nation, and comes out in vengeance. You have to understand that anger is a second-degree emotion. The first one is hurt. You have to understand that in your choices that you hurt the Lord first. You robbed the Lord in your presumptions of what you own, what you got coming, and what you think is yours. And your small contributions and tithes and offerings under the scope and breadth of the United States Constitution hovering over you, giving you the opportunity to do business, giving you the opportunity to have everything that you have, has been so little respected that you were not willing to make a small contribution. In the Lord's defense of that, think about that hurt that you have caused the Lord. Don't think about it as a hurt you caused me. The Lord gave me that intelligence to sue McCain and sue Obama. The Lord gave that to me. I need a defender of the law. That's what he said. I need a defender. Well, who will go and defend? And I raised my hand and said, I will, Lord. I will. Against all odds, against a whole nation, against financial hardships, against relationships that are most precious to me, and that you would agree with your own are most precious. When the Lord heals your heart and gives you that healing of a new heart, and you have an understanding of that little window, which is a reflection of eternity, that you now understand everything in this life doesn't equal or doesn't add up in value to a smidgen of a contribution. And that's why it's so remarkable, so astonishing, so disrespectful that you would not give a little contribution. For the future of your children, for your recollection in the day of your judgment, for the day when the Lord's hurt is calloused in a judgment of evil, and you are found on that evil. compared to the righteousness of the Lord. Make your contribution today. You can make it through my website, www.codyjudy.us. You can go directly to my PayPal, Cody Robert Judy. You can go to my GoFundMe page, Cody Robert Judy. Underneath this video, I always place a direct deposit for you. That opportunity. I implore you as U.S. citizens not to rob God. I implore you as citizens of the United States of America to challenge the record where the Lord has said, this whole nation has robbed me. Republicans and Democrats and independents. I want for you to be able to have a record which says, Lord, I gave a contribution. Please don't look at it as the whole nation. Count me as an individual in the nation. And please have mercy upon us. Please have mercy upon our nation. Please turn thy anger away and thy hurt, O Lord, let that be healed with my new heart. It's my hope for you. I'll talk to you next.